As we go into an election tomorrow, there are so many people that have a high level of apathy, thinking, well, my vote doesn't mean much. Well, it is up to each of us and our own personal responsibility to make it matter. Because what we stand up for is the protection of the environment. What we're standing up for is the protection and sustainability of wild salmon, which is integral.
Thank you. We're standing up for wild salmon. I'm hoping we're going to look back at the last 10 years and we're going to think of them as the dark ages. And the time when air and water and clean food were considered valueless. And the government that's been running this country does not see the value. Many of the people in this country do not see the value because there's no price on it. But we all know the environment does not end at our skin, it goes into our cells. And so when we fight for the environment, we're fighting for our bodies, our children, our futures.
I also acknowledge with gratitude that we stand on the territories of the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nations, that we started this morning in the First Nations territory of the Tsawit peoples, and I'm very, very honored to share a stage with so many heroes who are chiefs, who are standing up and fighting Fish Lake. What a great victory that was. Chief Marilyn Baptiste, such an honor to share this place with you. I'm here today to commit, as are all of you, that we will put our voices, our energy, our work, and our vote in protecting wild salmon. Alexandra Morton has done so much to draw attention to what's happening on the BC coast. I'm coming to you with an awareness of the atrocities of aquaculture in places as far-flung as Thailand and Ecuador, where shrimp aquaculture is the most destructive industry. Vandana Shiva of India, who many of you will know, has said even compared to mining and the chemical industry, the destruction of the mangrove forest to make room for shrimp aquaculture, which is in all our stores on those really attractive rings. Don't eat farm shrimp either. It's a disaster for the planet. Bear in mind, every farmed shrimp you see from Thailand represents a mangrove massacre. And I come to you from the East Coast, where the Atlantic salmon is no longer fished commercially at all, and the fish farms along the east coast of Canada, the Atlantic salmon open pen fish farms in Atlantic Canada, are a disaster for wild salmon. And here on our British Columbia coast, we have the strongest movement, the greatest number of people who understand the connectedness between grizzly, forest, salmon, humans, and the planet itself. That when we stand up for wild salmon, we're standing up for ourselves. When we stand up for wild salmon, we're standing up for the planet, for the grizzlies, for our grandchildren. And we will not accept the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, which has a dual mandate guaranteeing a conflict of interest to promote aquaculture while trying to protect our coastlines. This must change. We know that the Department of Fisheries and Oceans has in its power to protect our coastlines because the Fisheries Act federally is the single strongest piece of environmental legislation in Canada. And if we used it and if we enforced it, you would not allow open pen fish farms, period, because they allow the distribution of material deleterious to fish, which is to say everything that comes out of an open pen fish farm. And that's illegal. And we know, and maybe you don't know this, that the Harper government has in its sights new legislation to gut the Fisheries Act, to reduce the habitat protection parts of the Fisheries Act, to take that act which has such potential and to weaken it in the interest of corporate interests. So I said, Bob just said to me when I came up, he said, please remind people that they kept you out of the debates because they didn't want to hear the truth. Well, God willing, and the voters of Saanich Gulf Islands willing, after tomorrow they won't be able to keep my voice out anymore. No matter what happens tomorrow, we keep up the fight for wild salmon. God bless you, Alexandra. Thank you all.